How can Kyle Rayner learn to use the power of every lantern? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be continuing our road to Godhead, helping you get caught up on the Green Lantern story arcs. This story takes place right after Lights Out, when the entire universe thinks that Kyle Rayner is dead. You see, it was discovered that the Lanterns aren't using an unlimited source of power, and they will eventually run out of the emotional spectrum. So Kyle defeated the villain that informed everyone of this by going beyond the universe and replenishing the emotional spectrum with his White Lantern ring. Everyone thought that he died, and when he came back, the Guardians decided that they should keep his revival a secret. We now go to Carol Ferris on the homeworld of the Star Sapphires, trying to explain what happened to the Star Sapphire Council. She is sad because she started to develop feelings for Kyle, but at that moment she gets an odd message from the new Guardians, and she leaves at top speed. "You jerk!" she screams at Kyle as he stands in front of her smiling. "You let all of us think that you were dead? Kyle, why didn't you tell me that you were alive?" "I did tell you that I was alive. That's why you're here," he retorts. "No, the Guardians asked me to come here, and I'm quoting here, to address a matter of concern regarding Lantern Rayner." Sorry?" She then jumps into his arms, just happy that he's alive and here. And she asks why he isn't telling anyone else. And he explains, Sade Walker is in a coma, Guy is a Red Lantern now, and John would just tell Hal, and he isn't ready for Hal to find out. At that moment, one of the Guardians brings over a native to the planet that they are on, and he holds his hand out. "I am Nice Denthrotted, and I am happy to be making new friends." So Kyle holds out his hand. "I am Kyle Rayner of the White, friend of angry women." Carol isn't exactly happy with that remark, and Nias walks them through the planet, introducing them to a utopian paradise. His people, the Exurias, have accomplished something that no one else has managed to pull off: perfection. He then jumps off the tower backwards, forcing Kyle and Carol to jump after what they are assuming is a suicidal alien. But the planet actually catches him and floats him to the bottom. Nias explains that the planet provides. No one on this planet has a need or a want. Everything is perfect and provided for them. And once Kyle and Carol are alone again, Zala, one of the Guardians, approaches them to explain why they're here. Their predecessors, the original Guardians, tried for centuries to create a utopia, and they failed horribly. While this planet that was once on the same path as Earth has managed to do it by themselves. She wants Kyle to explore this planet until he finds a place that he isn't allowed to go. Because once he finds that, he'll find out how they did this. Because paradise doesn't come without a cost. Something must have been done to these people. So as the Guardians distract Nias, Kyle uses his ring to sense all of the emotions in the spectrum. And he can of course detect love, will, hope, and compassion. But it's the feelings of anger and fear that make him curious, because it's coming from all of the teenagers heading to a single large building. As Kyle says, if you're looking for fear and anger, teenagers are the way to go. Kyle and Carol head to that spot, where oddly, they are welcomed to actually enter the structure. They do not hide anything here. As a matter of fact, they want everyone to see this. That is what these young ones are doing. They are coming to see the truth. Carol looks at Kyle. This has re-education written all over it. But Kyle does as the Guardians have asked him, and he walks in alone to a room filled with people. How anticlimactic, Kyle says to himself. He demands that the one on the ramp stop what he is doing. None of this feels right, and if he's hurting these kids, I am, the man says. And this causes Kyle to pause. Not the answer that you were expecting, friend? Well, most villains don't come out and say it. I am to be the villain in this then, huh, friend? So he invites Kyle to look at the broken mirror thingy so that he can explain. This planet is able to look into other timelines. Timelines where small and large changes have happened. And then they go there and they take the change, they take the miracle from another timeline. He then takes Kyle and he walks through the mirror, showing a world engulfed in flames and destroyed. They take the best timelines and they leave the subpar timelines with the other worlds. Sometimes they take small changes, but sometimes they take big changes. Kyle is in shock. You're stealing futures to create a world where everything has gone right? Yes, and all of our people must accept it. Some do, and they come back knowing what is sacrificed for them, while some can't deal with what they've done and choose to stay in those worlds to try and help those people. And you think that this makes it okay? Kyle demands to know. I do. If we left those moments in place, many timelines would be okay, but only by small amounts. Instead, we can make one perfect place. And that's when a spear comes out of nowhere and hits the old man. Kyle takes him back through the portal, but then behind him he sees through it as the residents of the destroyed timeline are here to get their future back. Kyle immediately begins to throw around his constructs, but for some reason, he can't hit the invader, and that's when the Guardians tell him, it's a living structure, it won't allow violence. If Kyle keeps using his ring, the structure will keep pushing back and it will prevent him until he destroys the planet. So he makes a willpower-based bubble around the invaders. He then uses the power of hope to heal the old man. The invaders break free from the bubble and they begin with their plan to kill everyone on this planet. Then the alternate old man comes through the gate to reconfigure the structure and turn it into a mass portal, allowing all of the other timelines to cross if they want to. Carol looks up at all of the other destroyed timelines. Oh, this is not good. Kyle then begins smashing the mirrors trying to prevent the portals, and with the change in the structure, the protection systems are down, allowing Kyle to properly use his ring. An all-out war begins on the planet with the invaders attacking everyone, and Kyle and Carol try to hold them back, but with them keeping the invaders busy, the Guardians have an idea, and they begin heading off in a different direction. Kyle then begins battling against the other world's champion, an alternate Nias, and he's trying his best to win this fight and save the planet. While all of this is happening, the old man that controlled the portal and the one from the alternate universe realize they are actually one and the same. As much as they tried to picture each other as monsters, they are just different versions of the same person. During this talk, Kyle is hitting the alternate Nias with everything he has until he finally gets a free shot at the device on the alternate Nias' arm, the device that can reconfigure the structure. He then smacks him down, winning their fight. The structures begin repairing themselves, and Kyle holds the biggest culprits to the invasion, while Carol, as she puts it, pushed the alternate versions back through the holes. She really doesn't have a vocabulary for this. Kyle then gives them an ultimatum. Shut these portals down and make it right, or he will. And with that, he takes off into space until Carol catches up and asks, "Are you okay? Because giving an ultimatum like that doesn't feel like you." Kyle explains that he has all of this power, but sometimes, even the best solution is the worst one. And he can't let them keep stealing futures, so if he has to be the one to lay down the law, so be it. He then takes off into space to think. But the new Guardians have their own conversation. Did we learn all we wish to learn from this? No. Lantern Kyle does not understand what he saw beyond the source wall. But they are still coming, and he is not ready to face them. We'll have to keep testing him. There's a few more stories in the White Lantern arc until we get to Godhead, and we still have to cover some Hal Jordan stuff, and I hope to bring this to you in a rather quick manner, but we're gonna see what we can do. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the other videos on the screen right now. You just might like those also, and I'll see you next time right here.